Kernel SAP kernel upgrade. Kernel means kernels are the OS level binaries. So kernels are the OS level binaries here. So kernels will be stored into the three locations here in the SAP. What are those three locations? We discussed, right? exe folders. exe folders are the kernel folders. It is stored in, it will stay in the three locations here. So what are those three locations? Anybody? Okay. So we discussed, right? File system structure we discussed, right? USR, SAP, SID, CCXE, D instance number is ASCII. Those things we discussed already. I'm not sure whether you're practicing or not. Okay. So kernel is the core component, is a core component of any SAP system. Core means it's a main component. Core component of any SAP system here. Any SAP system, kernel is the core component here. It consists of executable files. It consists of executable files here that runs on the server to handle the connections to the SAP executable programs. The latest bug fixes will be fixed, so systems will run smoothly, right? Kernel is the very important here, the SAP system. Without kernel, your SAP system will not run, right? So why the kernel is required means kernel is other words I can say like kernel is the heart, is the core of the applications here. All the executable files are here, right? So here during the installation time, we may update our kernels. But so after that, there are the many changes, many years back, many changes. So there are a lot of new fixes will be implemented. If you keep on updating your kernel, your SAP system also smoothly will run. Otherwise, it will give you the trouble here, right? Bug fixes, programs, all those things. So all those things will come here. So kernel is the one of the factor. Your system will be the slowness or so termination. Something will happen in the system. So kernel is the one of the factor also. So we need to update our kernels also here. So what are the kernels here? So SAP exe, SAP exe DB are the kernel files here. SAP exe, SAP exedb are the kernel files here. One is the DB independent file. DB independent file. Second one is the DB dependent file. DB dependent file here. DB dependent files here. So one is the based upon the DB, we have to download it. One is the without dependency of the DB, we can download the DB independent here. DB independent files we can download it here, right? That is the kernel here. So we have to download. First of all, we need to check the what is the our current kernel version. Okay, let's take example of the our NW1 system. Okay, in the NW1 system here, so let's check the current kernel version here. Current kernel version here, NW1 ADM. Then so we can check the multiple ways. Already our people are created the kernel, some backups they have created. So it's not required. So what we can do here, go to the command prompt here. So you can just go to the command prompt here. So just check the this plus work, right? So it will tell you the what is the current kernel version. What is the current kernel version? It will give you the information. What is the current kernel version? It will give you the information. Our kernel version is the 753 release and patch level is the 1200. 753 and patch level is the 1200 here, right? 753, 1200 is the patch level here. Okay, so here 753, 1200 is the patch level here. So this is the one way to check it out. Otherwise, second one, go to the your SAP system here. In the SAP system, so here we can find out. So that sendable one is not opening, I guess. So SAP system also we can find out here. SAP system also we can find out here what is the current kernel version. We can find out in the SAP also we can find out. Right? SAP also we can find out what is the current kernel version. So SAP SM51 we can check it out. What is the current kernel version? We can check it out. I think someone stopped this one. Someone stopped the SAP system here. That's fine. So anyhow, we have to stop it as per the kernel upgrade. We need to stop. Why? Because kernel upgrade is the one of the downtime time activity here. One of the downtime time activity, the kernel update. So it is stopped. So that's fine. So now what we have to do as a steps here, kernel upgrade steps here. The first of all, kernel upgrade, there is a dependency on the your OS version as well, also your SAP version as well. So kernel is a dependency of the your OS version and your SAP version as well here. So you cannot download always latest and download it here. So patch you can update it, but release when you are going for the release upgrade or that time you need to check the so always you have to make a note of the so read the kernel kernel release information note. We have to read it so that it will give you the some information here. Then so align the align the target patch level. Which patch level you want to upgrade, right? We have to align the target patch levels. We have to upgrade it here. Align the target patch level. Which patch level you want to upgrade? That is the one important thing here. Down download the download the latest kernels from the service marketplace, right? Once you've done it here, once you download the kernel from the service marketplace, download the latest kernels from the service marketplace here. Once you download the kernels from the latest marketplace, then we extract it. We have to extract it using SAP car command. Then, so take the backup of existing kernel. Means we can copy to the other folders here. Take the backup of the other kernels here. That is the one important thing here, right? So the next one is the for kernel upgrade. Once you take the backup, then here for kernel upgrade, we have to stop the SAP application. Stop SAP application. So you need to align you need to confirm with your manager or so customer. So business downtime. Why? Because you are stopping the SAP system means users cannot able to access here, right? So here we need to confirm. So our manager for how much like what we require. So like for downtime here, right? Downtime timelines we have to confirm when you are going to stop it here, right? Once you stop it here, then copy the replace the new kernel files. Replace the new kernel files here, which means as per the step number 4, which you extracted new kernel files, you have to replace the new kernel files onto so your existing kernel folders where it is available. So USR, SAP, SID, sys exe. Here you need to replace this exe. So we have to replace it here. Sys exe, UCNC, we have to replace it here. Then start the SAP application. One folder is enough. Yeah, because this is the global folder. So one folder is enough to replace it here. Then start the SAP application. Then log into the SAP and perform the health checks. Perform the health checks here. That is what we have to do it here. Perform the health checks here. So That is the one thing we have to do it here. So let's see the current kernel. So we have the 1200 version is there here. Current kernel is the 1200 version is there here, right? So then, so 1200 is our current patch level here, right? Let's go to the system here. What is the, whether we have any latest files are available here? Let me check here. SAP software kernel 753. Here nothing is there. 1200 is there. The downloads also, there are lots of their downloads. What is this kernels? So we have the 1300 is there. Okay, we have the 1300 files are there here. So what I can do, I can create a one folder. So we have currently 1200. We are upgrading to the 1300. So already kernel files are there in our system. So kernel upgrade, we can simply roll back also. Simply roll back to the previous version. We can upgrade it from one version to another version. We can upgrade it. We can roll back. So once it is copied, let me delete. All those things are not required. Okay, so what I'm doing here, I am extracting the kernel now here. I'm extracting the kernel. We have the new kernels are available using the SAP car command, SAP car -xdf, SAP exe, right? So SAP exe. So just I'm extracting the kernels here. See, I'm extracting. So SAP exe first we have to extract it. So order also very important, guys. So order of the extracting also first exe, then exedb we have to do it. So don't do it. So this is a normally we mistake here in our real case. People will do the exedb, sometimes other files, other files, other files. No, first exedb, then exedb, then any hot news or anything we have to update it. Any hot news or any hot fixes we have to update it here. That's it. That is the way of doing the extraction here. Otherwise, what will happen? The new version will override on the old version. Old version will override on the new version. There is a mess up. So that's why there is a properly we have to update our extract the kernels first, right? Properly we have to extract our kernels here. So kernels means OS level binaries here, right? So these are the binaries as well. If you see it here, so if you see the like SAP MMT, SAD, EXE, or USR SAP SAD CCXE, only these locations we can extract it, right? This is extracted the EXEDB. Next one is the EXEDB I am extracting here, right? EXEDB also I extracted. So kernel files I have extracted. That is also done. So from I'm updating from 1300 to 1200 I am doing here. Is the 1200 I'm updating to the 1300 also here. As I mentioned here, kernel upgrade always there is a dependency on the OS version here. We need to, it's not like that blindly you can download the latest versions. So update it here. So as I mentioned here, before you update the kernels here, always check the release note. Always check the release note here. So what is the latest version it is installed? If you go to the by alphabetical index, so K for kernel, right? K for kernels. So 64-bit release. Then so what is the version? And then the installation upgrades. Go to the support pattern patches. This one, CP kernel, CP kernel here. So 753, right? 753. So we can directly go to the 753 database dependent SAP exe. Then check there is a 1400 also available. then 1300 also available, 1200 also available, 1300, 1200 also available. We are upgrading to the, so 1300 here. So before upgrading, read the release note. There is a release note for the each and every kernel. If you go to the content info, we go to the content info, it will give you the clear information, release information, 753, right? 1300 you are updating, which data, which versions it is applicable, which operating systems it is applicable, right? So it is fine. Ours is the, that is fine. Ours is the 10 point something, Windows NT 10 point something here, right? So ours is the 750. So this kernel we can apply it here. But it's a very important, guys. Why? Because people will do the mistake here. Sir, I will go for the kernel release upgrade on the 754. I will go means you can go it. But before going, so we did it, but it got failure. Means system is not starting up because of the kernel. So here you have to check it out the your. So whether if you go to the content info 754, that is fine. 300 patch level, that is fine. But this is also OS, this is fine. This is also fine here. You can update it. But when you are going for the another version, right? Another version, suppose the example. So we need to check like this here. So this is also fine. 754 also you can update it. If you want to go to the 7777, just check the SAP EXE. SAP EXE release note. Just check it out here. Content info. So here here, this is a 777. The 777, this is applicable for the 753, 754, and 777. But our SAP version is the 750 only. SAP base is 750 release only. That is over 7.50 only. So this is not applicable. So when you do the kernel upgrade, what will happen? System will throw the error. System will not startable, first of all. So before that, carefully you check what is the, so yeah, the content information, release information. If you see it here, it will give you the clear information. So whether it is applicable or not. So 1300 definitely it is applicable. Why? Because we are not changing the release. We are only patch level we are changing that 1200 to 1300. So that is fine, right? So what we can do, we can so as per the steps. So download the latest kernel. We have extracted, take the backup of the existing kernel, stop the SAP. So take the backup of the existing kernel. So existing kernel available in the C, USR, SAP, sys exe. This is the kernel, existing kernel, right? But because existing kernel, if you take the existing kernel, if something wrong, we can replace the existing kernel. Backup means copy and place it in the other folder or something. You can take it out. Backups. So like, let me take it out here itself. So you are taking the copy of the, so one more kernel, you are taking the copy, right? So then once the copy is done, stop the SAP services, all the services, SAP system, you can stop it here. You can stop SAP commands or Windows level MMC, you can use it to stop it. So if any process, any in the task, any services also in the services.msc, if any services also open, so just to go to the here. Let's go to the services here. Just to stop the services as well. Stop the services as well. Okay, that is done. Why this PR here? Okay. Let's stop. Okay, you stop with this one as well. So backup also you are taking. So then once done it, then where is our new kernels here? So copy the new kernels. Normally in the Linux level, we will use the CP command, copy -rf some commands. There is a Windows, right? Just to copy. Then copy and just overwrite on the existing kernel, which is means in E drive, USR, AP, W1, this this CX. One folder is enough. You no need to extract all the folders here. But like sometimes with the, if you extract it here, it will be sync the files, kernel files to the others as well. How it will be synced means I will explain it here. UC means Unicode, NTADM means it's operating system. So NT Windows, something like that. So here we have the kernels here. Here you need to replace it. Means so just to paste it here. Control V. So the new kernels will be replaced here. The new kernels is getting replaced here. See here it is copying. So existing kernel, new version will get override. See here, do you want to replace? Yes. So new files are getting replacing here. See. Okay. So this is done. Okay. So you are replaced it here. Normally you no need to replace it on the all the three directories here. Sometimes in the worst case scenario, we may have to replace it on the three exe directories here. We have the three exe directories, right? One is the USR, SAP, SID, sys, and exe. Second one is the USR, SAP, SID, then D instance number, then ESC, then USR, SAP, and SID, then ASCS and EXE. Right? So three directories you have the kernel files are located. So just to do the, this is called the global. This is called the global exe directory. You need to replace it on the global exe directory only. Why? Because so from here there is a from here to local, global to local, there is a SAP CPE. This is a very important concept. Very important. Why? Because most of the interview point of time, they may ask you the questions like how the kernel files will be switched from the global to local. There is a SAP CPE utility program that will switch the that will synchronize the or switch or synchronize, whatever the right word we can use it, switch the new kernels that will switch the new kernels, that will pass the new kernel, that will synchronize the new kernels into so another existing exe local exe directories, okay, local exe directories here. So it will use it here. SAP CPE program will be used here, right? So that is the one thing here. Then once you copy it here, then start the services. Just start the services here. Done. So then start the services, then start the SAP system. Right click and start. Right click and you can start it here. Done. So once you started, you see immediately here, okay, this will start it. This is started. So when it is going to start it, you observe it here. See SAP CPE program executable copy. So means it's detected like a new kernels, then it is copying executable copy new kernels. It is detected. It is copying here. It is copying here. See, it will take time. It will copy it here. Why? Because new kernels will be copied to the existing folders. Existing folders it will copy. Right? It is copying here. Then your SAP will be started status here. Then it will start the SAP systems here. Then it will start the SAP systems here. The Windows, right? So sometimes due to the shared memory issues or all that issues, so it won't start. Then we need to reboot the OS sometimes. So then we have to start it. So that's why we have to align the downtime timelines. Why? Because stopping the SAP system means it will interrupt the user work and everything, business work and everything, especially the production systems here, especially the production systems. So we have to carefully plan the, so this one we have to carefully plan the, so the kernel upgrade. Kernel upgrade is the one of the downtime activity. Only, so do we need to start DB as well? No, only SAP stop. That's enough. No need to stop the database. No need to stop the database here, right? So let's see here. Let me reboot once. The Windows, I think 2 days back, I think it got restarted. That's why Windows always the problem like we need to reboot the, so this one as well we have to reboot it here. Operating system also. Linux it's not required. So easily it will find out here. So you can see your S4 system here, S4 system, the kernel, any system, the same procedure here. If you go to the SM51, so we can check to the release note, it will give you the information, what is the current version and all the things here, right? What is the current version and everything will be displayed here, right? Kernel release. So, otherwise, displays work at OS level or in SM5011, we can check the release note. Here you can find out the information, what is the current kernel is active in the system, right? That is the one thing here. So here you have any system, the same procedure. Let's see. Still it is restarting, I guess. So main important thing to everybody, always read the release note. When you are planning for any SAP upgrade or anything, please read the release note. So here in the S verse table, whatever it is mentioned, it should match your system component. It is not matching your SAP system. Here it's not matching. Then don't do the kernel upgrade. So just check the lower versions. Okay, that is the one important thing, everybody. So everybody will do the kernel upgrade blindly, but so choosing the right one is the very important here. Which one is the correct one? Why? Because otherwise your SAP will not start smoothly. SAP will not start. It will face the issues, version mismatch. All those things are very important here, right? So that is the one important thing here. So now I think we have stopped, restarted. Now we can start it. How many see? Automatically it will start it, but it will load all and it will start it. Then that's why I'm starting here.
Sir, you have stopped SAP PRA, no? That is not required, sir.
That is the another SID. So
Okay.
another SID. These kernels are very important. OS level interfaces, OS level binaries, the core heart for SAP system kernels. Without kernel, even SAP also will not start. If SAP system is up and running, means because of the kernels. SAP CP executable copy. So it is starting mode now. See here, whenever it is starting, it always refer the, if you go to the developer trace, OS level log files, it will refer the profile and it will refer the kernel files here. The DLL files, always it will refer this one. So while starting itself, it is referring the kernels and all those things here. So it's a very important, kernels and profiles are very important for SAP. Otherwise, SAP will not come up here. It will go, it will be stopped status. Okay, then once it is started, then we can log into the SAP level. So we can check the versions, what is the version and everything. We can check it out, what is the current version and all those things. We can check it out in the systems here. So that is the one thing we can do it. So go to the SAP level. After the kernel upgrade is done, then check the, to go to the SM51. So just check the release version. What is the release version? 753. So then so it should reach the 1300 patch level here. This is another system. Just I'm showing, right? Once the kernel upgrade is done, just to go to the ST22, check are there any dumps are generated or not, right? So then once the kernel upgrade is done, just check the whether system is responding very well or not. What is the response time? So always for the Windows systems, this is fine, all the steps, especially for the Linux systems, before starting the SAP. So there is a one step here for the Linux systems here. So for Linux systems, we need to run the /sap root.sh script. We have to run it. So from kernel directory, you need to go to the cdexe means kernel directory. So then you need to run this one script in the command prompt level. For Linux level, you need to run this script here. So why? Because this script it will correctly set the sticky bits. I mean to say this is the sticky bits related information, your ports and sticky bits. So it will bind ICM bind and everything here. So it will correctly set the permissions, groups, GID, permissions, groups, and etc. It will correctly set it out. Why? Because if you are extracting the kernel with the different user and different things you are doing, so permissions will get mess up in the Linux level. So always before you starting the means before eighth step, so you need to execute. This is for the Linux level. Linux level you have to execute. Windows level nothing will happen. It will start it only. So Linux level, this is the one important thing you have to execute it here. Before thing you have to execute that step. We have to execute it here Linux level. Okay, that is the one important thing for the Linux systems here. Okay.
Uh, Sir,
Yes.
if we have the like a three landscape, so how does it work? And the second question, if we have a single system, if we have created the multiple clients, in that the kernel how it will work, sir?
Kernel is the system based, not the client based. Answer to your question, kernel is not the client based. If you do OS level, it will applicable for the all the clients. Okay. And also if the multiple systems in a landscape, you need to plan like development. Then after that, 2 days the quality. After that, 2 days again regression. Then wait for the 1 week. Then we can do for the production. Why? Because within these 2 days, you will see any issues or any errors that will be observed in the non-production systems. Then when you are planning for the non-production to production, just wait for the 1 week or 10 days. You can observe it. Then you can plan it.
Okay, when we are in the three landscape, so you have to wait for
Any
one week or
any system by system we have to do it. But for system to system, you need to wait for some time. Why?
okay,
Because
sir.
we are not sure how this will behave after the kernel upgrade. So no one not sure how this will be behave after the kernel upgrade, after the how the system will behave and everything. So that is the reason we need to wait for some time. Wait for 1 or 2 days. Then we nothing, no issues are populating. Then we are good.
Sure, sir. Thank you.
Still it is starting mode. That's why you see. Yeah, started. See, this started fully. So this is started. So NW1 is fully started. So make sure whenever you are working in the kernel upgrade, make sure you have the downtime timelines are aligned or not. Right? So it's very important downtime timelines. So let me log into the NW1. This is NW1 system. Then, so we just done the kernel upgrade light little bit slow. Because all the programs in the OS level, it should be compiled. So it should be some slowness here. Then you can go to the SM51 and you can check the status here. Go to the SM51. You can go to the release information. You can check the 1300 version, which means kernel upgrade is done. From 1200 to 1300, it is done. Okay, this is the way we have to do the kernel upgrade or kernel patch upgrade. Then we can check are there any dumps are generating or not. Sometimes what happens after the kernel upgrade, though a lot of dumps will generate it. This is the some kind of time related. So we already corrected the time sync issues we have. So then SM21. So we can check are there any means health checks. So nothing operational modes which also triggered. That is fine. So then, so like that, we need to do the some health checks here. Automatically, it will perform the health checks and everything here. Okay. So this is the way we need to perform the so kernel kernel patches here. So check the response time. So it's a very high response time, but fine. Let's see. It will come back automatically. So this is the way of doing the kernel upgrade and health checks.